Chillin'. Probably get one more day out of this shirt. All right, yep. See, that already looks better. Good. Yeah. Let some more airflow through the car. You know what I mean? You having a good day? Is it a good Easter? Oh yeah, that's probably why Fred didn't get on yesterday. It was Easter. That's probably why he didn't get on. It was like because literally they're like 14 hours ahead of us. So it was like it was midnight for me, but it's like 2 p.m. Yeah, that's probably why Fred didn't pop in last night. Yeah, I'm chilling, man. Got to 10 more cigarettes after this one. It's early morning. I don't expect too many people to show up. You know, what else can I do? You know what I mean? But anyway, how you doing, man? You have a good Saturday? Hell yeah. Hot, man. I don't know why it gets so hot, man. I got like all the windows down. The wind's blowing, but I like I don't know. I always park opposite of the way that the wind is blowing. I don't know how I always do that. The wind doesn't just like blow through the car. It always just blows this way. But anyway, man, I've been living in my car since September. It's not too bad. I mean, a couple months down the road, and you're just doing your thing. Each month that goes by it gets a little bit easier. You learn the spots better. I mean, people start. Some people do run into you to the point where you're I don't know, word of mouth and that kind of shit. People start to realize, oh, that's the homeless dude. Like I even went to McDonald's yesterday, just getting some lunch, and then the girl was whispering to the other girl, he's like, that dude lives in his car. You know, people I ain't never even told. You know what I mean? Never told them nothing, but it's like people already know after a while. Even the police, they'll stop fucking with you after a while because they see your car, they'll radio to each other. You know what I mean? I don't know. They'll look up, they'll put notes like when they type in your tag on the computer, they'll put like notes on it. I don't know. Anyway, it's not too bad, man. Things are going pretty good. Versus $1,000 a month to rent somewhere. You know what I mean? I'd rather just put $1,000 into my own pocket if I even need to worry about making $1,000 that month. you know. But yeah, my bills. I've still got monthly bills. I'm trying to get down to like absolute zero a month in bills. But pretty much like when you live in your car, pretty much car insurance is your rent. You know what I mean? You can go without car insurance, but yeah, it's very risky, being the fact that anywhere you're sleeping, you can have the police wake you up, and then before you can move your car, they'll ask you for that paperwork. If you ain't got it, then your car's getting towed. Your apartment will be towed. You know, I don't know, man. That's why you just got to keep the car insurance. For me, it's like $120 a month. for car insurance on this car that's paid off, but I don't know, man. And then I'm still helping the ex out with bills and shit. So I still, like, I pay for our phones, and then I pay for the internet to be on at the house I was living, just because I'm still trying to help her as much as I can, trying to save the relationship there. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, pretty much after the car insurance and the cell phone internet bill, I have no other bills other than eating. You know, so like roughly about $400 a month is, you know what I mean. Especially if I get the hang of like going to food banks and shit like that, hitting free meals more often. You know what I mean. And like I don't know the rate of pay that they're giving me. I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. Just trying to take the good with the bad. The Uber driving, like ultimately, I can make more money from driving for Uber, and it's a more free feeling throughout the day. You know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to work. Normally, I work on Sundays, but I guess for one reason or another, because it's Easter, maybe I don't know. We closed earlier today and shit too, so he probably didn't want to schedule me just like 3 to 6 and piss me off. You know what I mean? So that's probably why he just went ahead and like stretched whoever else's hours out a little bit more. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then I get Sunday off. I can ultimately go out and Uber drive and make more than the $50 that I would make by going in. You know what I mean? Especially at the time of day. Fucking like 3 to 9 is kind of like the best time to be doing Uber driving. You know what I mean? There's also there's a few more drivers on at that time too, but yeah, you take the good with the bad. But yeah, I was drinking last night. I ended up drinking three of the 4 pack I bought, and I woke up this morning and poured the fourth one out on the ground. I don't know, just for my dead homies. You know what I mean? Plus, I wasn't gonna drink it at that point. It was like, you know, doing pretty good. It's only 72 degrees right now. I'm sitting in the shade. But yeah, I don't know. I woke up and poured it out. Not really a big drinker. I don't know. I'll smoke like an old fucking train though. I don't know. I don't know. My body just rejects alcohol more. Like it's like it's a poison in the first place. I don't know. But yeah, like these beers, which yeah, they're not really beers. You know what I mean? They're like 8.1% alcohol. And then yeah. But anyway, I planned on drinking 4 of them last night. I drank 3, and then I got to like I was, like I close my eyes or lean my head back or something, and just everything would start spinning. So I was like, okay, I can't even open up that fourth one. I don't know. I timed it out too. Like I don't know. I was doing a live stream. Basically, I drank 2 beers before I went live. Drank 2 of those, and then about the hour mark, I went and drank. But I didn't even drink the whole beer. I drank like half of it, and then the 2 hour mark, I went back out and drank the other half. You know, but damn it. I didn't puke, but I felt like I was gonna puke for like 5 hours. But anyway, happy Easter, everybody. How y'all doing? I don't know if the chat's working. If you're, if, I see the smiles, but I don't know if the chat's actually working or what. Because I haven't got the message yet. But I get it. Some people are just viewers. I get, you don't, there might even be somebody watching me, and they're like trying to learn English by watching me. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, what up there? 94. What's up, man? I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm not telling you. I don't want to. Yeah. But anyway, I'm living in Ocala right now, where I do have a job. I work in retail, pushing around car parts, doing some dumb shit. But they don't give me a whole lot of time. So I got to the hang of like picking up Uber, to pick up the loose ends from not getting a whole lot of time at the job. And the Uber actually pays better, you know. I don't know. And the job, man, they just kept it was more usury than, like the dude would put me on the schedule for 6 fucking days and then only give me like 4 hours each day, and I'm like, dude, I'm not here for that, bro. Because then him putting me on the schedule for just 4 hours, right? I've got to there's hours I got to set, even if I'm doing Uber driving, I got to like be sitting over here, right, like kind of like an hour before. I got to stop doing orders. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know, man. It takes the whole fucking day of driving from me for me to go in there for a fucking 4 hour bullshit. I'm like, I'm asking the guy for more hours. I get, but the guy didn't understand that I meant more hours on the same amount of days, right? Like, if you could just give me 3 10s, man, fucking give me a 10 hour on Friday, a 10 hour on Saturday, a 10 hour on Sunday, and then there's another manager dude that works the Monday through Friday. So I could basically work the opposite of him, you know. But for some reason, the dude, he's still just dogging me about it. He's, like this next week, I got 1 day on the schedule, because I changed my availability on him. I get why he's being petty, but at the same time, yeah, he's just kind of really just being petty because any one of these stores could use a good weekend guy, a good guy that, he only wants weekend hours because he Uber drives through the weekdays. And then really, it's kind of shooting myself in the foot to do it that way because I would make more money to drive on the weekends, but the nature of the beast, I can't. There's already a guy that works the Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? So yeah. But anyway, I closed my availability off on him basically so that he can only schedule me the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then I talked to him about it. I waited like a month for it to finally take effect, and basically took like 3 months for it to finally take effect because he was still just putting on the schedule whenever, you know. And I don't know, man. But yeah, just I don't know. I do like the way the two jobs. Oh yeah, hold on, it's Mike Team from Gainesville. Hell yeah. But yeah, I like the way the two jobs bounce off each other because being that the one job's in car parts, if something happens to my car Uber driving, I can get a discount somewhere. Even if I need a tire, we have certain tire shops that we run parts to and stuff. I might could go there and get 20% off or something. You know what I mean? Granted, the tire would probably still be expensive. But I don't know. It's just nice to I can go get a new starter and get 20% off. Um, you know what I mean? Just small stuff like that. It does pair with the job pretty well. What about long haul truck driving? No, I'm not into that. I really I really don't like driving. I really don't like cars at all. It's a part of life. You can't be an adult in America and not drive. Yeah, I feel like, you know what I mean? You can't just rely on someone else to tote you around everywhere. You need a car for transport. You know what I mean? And they built everything far enough away that if you were to ride a bike, it'd be an adventure. Like it couldn't. It's not just like, I don't know. But yeah, like right now, my plan is just to kind of just keep chilling in the car. I do want to save up enough money to be able to buy land. And that was the other part with the job, man. It was like they were giving me enough hours every week that I was going further into fucking debt at the end of the week, and I couldn't get the guy to understand that. Like I'm living in my car, and the amount of time that you're giving me, I'm going further into debt while not paying rent. You know what I mean? I just whatever. But luckily there is Uber. You know what I mean? I don't like doing DoorDash. I don't know. I tried dual apping. You know what I mean? But something about DoorDash I just don't like. It just doesn't operate the same as Uber. Is so much more user friendly. There's a lot less unnecessary pictures for like no. You know what I mean? I don't understand why you need to take a picture of it at the restaurant. That part makes no fucking sense. Because I don't know. But Uber, you don't even have to do that at all. It's just just get to the porch and then take a picture on the porch, and then I don't know. Both of them are just run by fucking AIs anyway. So I get why the DoorDash AI is dumb enough that it needs a picture of it. When it's sitting on the shelf at McDonald's, you got to take a picture of it before you pick it up. It's like, and you gotta appease your AI boss. But anyway, yeah, I'm trying to just buy some land that I can park my car on. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about the cops chasing me away because this is my own private property I bought and paid for. I'm not doing anything with it yet. Like I'm not here. I'm not currently. I'm at like a park. But anyway, the land would look pretty much like this. Just needs to be a bunch of land clearing needs to be done, but I can pull off of the easement of the road and then like park right where my lot is. You know what I mean? And then just start digging a hole through it to like create a driveway, kind of. And then still just be, I don't know, still basically just be living in my car, but at least have like a base camp I can retreat to every day. You know. But yeah, I only do the Uber Eats. My car's not new enough where I can do the people moving. I wouldn't really want to do that anyway because people are, the majority, you probably say the majority of the customers were like kind of Karens about everything. Can you put the AC on? Can you turn the music down? Can you not hit so many potholes? You know, and then me, I try to go 10 miles over, so I'm guaranteeing people would freak out. Oh my God, he's going 62 and a 55. Oh my God. You know what I mean? With the Uber Eats, they either give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And a lot of people, they don't take the time to give you a thumbs up, so you only get thumbs downs. You know what I mean? Like if your order was fine, there was really no reason you would have to open up the app again until you're hungry again. But if your order had a problem, you're like, oh, thumbs down. You know. I've been living in my car since September. I'm trying I've got about 8 grand saved up now. I've got saved in Bitcoin. So I'm waiting for the price to kind of turn around on that. Go back over 100K would be nice. It will eventually. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not trying to sell the Bitcoin either to buy the land. I'm wanting to, put enough onto Bitcoin and have the price go back up to where it was or higher, right? And then I could just take the Bitcoin as collateral, put that down on the land. And then I paid for the land outright in cash, basically, because I pulled out a cash loan against my Bitcoin collateral. And then I had like 15,000 cash that I can just go buy a piece of land with, and then I paid outright cash. But basically, and then that way I can stay invested in the Bitcoin, but also invest in the land and real estate at the same time. You know what I mean? With the same pile of cash, basically, rather than taking the 15,000 and then buying land with it and then trying to restack up the Bitcoin stack to where I had it. You know what I mean? Because the price could get away from me before I stack up as much as I currently have. So I can ultimately retain somewhat possession of my Bitcoin and buy the land, and give myself like a 4-year time horizon to be able to get that Bitcoin back. And then in 4 years' time, with the cycle of everything, it should be, you know what I mean? It should, yeah. There are a lot of places they're predicting $1 million per coin by 2032. You know what I mean? So we're kind of like in that last little run up now of it going from here to there. And where it's at now, you're looking at like a 14x on your money. You know what I mean? Because just 100K to a million would be a 10x. You know, like if you put $1 in, it would be $10 when it hits a million. But yeah, but now it's more of like a 14, maybe a 15x because the price went down so much. And then everything after a million they don't know. It's kind of all uncharted territory. But I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, like I had a couple of viewers that were listening. But that's the thing with Bitcoin, man. Everybody just wants to ignore it. Everybody just wants to look away or tune it out. It's like, look, I don't know. I don't know. I did it myself. Because just because money is involved, I just assumed it was a scam, but it's not. It's like all they're doing, they're just changing the currency from an S symbol to a B symbol. It's like all they're doing. Because it basically they're adding so many zeros onto everything that they needed to create a symbol basically to like you need like a megabyte, you know what I mean, the gigabyte to the megabyte, because there's extra zeros, you know what I mean, all these extra zeros. And if you have this S and then 9 zeros, an S symbol and then a 1 and then 9 zeros, or you could just put this B symbol and then a 1 and it would represent the same amount. You know what I mean? It just make it easier on the computer to have, it won't have to process all these extra zeros because we made a new symbol that is, I don't know. But we have to build it too. It's something like it has to hit a full maturity too. You know what I mean? It has to. It's time. Time's involved with it. The mining and everything. How secure the network gets over time. You know what I mean? It doesn't just happen overnight. It's a whole new currency that we're having to build. But yeah. And then they're talking about like somehow or another we're going to take the. I mean, we'll watch some videos on it because, like I said, like a lot of people, they're in that state of mind where they just try to ignore it and they pass it off as a scam and they don't look at it, for more than 5 minutes. I would go watch, depending on how old you are. He's still got good advice whether you're 60 or 12. If you can listen to what he's saying. His name is Jack Mallers, like mall, like a place you go shop. Mahler, like he's a Molly, he's one of them kids that goes to the mall. He's a Mahler, right? So just just remember his name, Jack Mallers. Um, Hang on, it's showing me 0 viewers, so I don't know if the stream might have disconnected or something. Wait for it to maybe reconnect. What did he left right then to go invest in crypto? Okay. Anyway, it was showing me 0 viewers, so I was just waiting for. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was probably just that spinning wheel thing for you or something. I'm sorry, where I'm at, I have terrible signal. I do plan on upgrading my phone, but I'm a couple more weeks away from that. I was trying to get the channel up off the ground first, and now that it's somewhat off the ground, I need to invest in it to help, not drive away the people that have come, and then try to get more people involved, wanting to hear me out, stuff like that. Like last night I was drinking, so it was I planned on it being a really good funny show. Anyway, the guy's name is Jack Mallers, and he's got a video called "There Is No Second Best." Oh, the guy left. 94. Okay, so you're born in 94. Basically, that's what that looks like. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, he basically explains why Bitcoin's on a whole nother level from all these other cryptos. Like all these other cryptos basically exist their own wallet to put Bitcoin into. You know what I mean? They disguise themselves as if they're another crypto, but they're just making money off of that to buy into Bitcoin more. But yeah, it's like we're hitting an age of hyperinflation that this country's never even seen before. The only way out of it is to buy into the lifeboat that's going to save it. And internet's not going to go anywhere in the next 20, 50, 100 years. It's probably only going to develop more. So like a currency that's embedded into the internet itself, I don't think is going to go anywhere. But I appreciate you stopping in, man. If you've been a subscriber for a while and it's your first time talking, nice to meet you finally. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't think I'd get too much of a crowd being that it's Easter Sunday. You know what I mean? I just figured I'd go online. I don't know. I like doing the lives at this point because it's more personable, more intimate. You know, it's like me and one person. You know, having a conversation. You know, they're asking them trying to figure out more about me. You know what I mean? Just had this couple walk by. We're here at the park too. You know, they're going to do the trail or whatever. But they walk by, and it's uncanny how many people will read. I got my YouTube channel written on the back of my car. It is uncanny how many people will read it, but then not actually go and then subscribe to the channel. They'll even read it out loud to me. They'll say it loud enough that I hear them saying it, but they won't go out of their way to just like look and see what the channel actually is. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I bet a lot of people, you get there and they'd be like, "Oh, it's a homeless dude. I'm gonna go ahead and subscribe and help him out. It doesn't cost me anything." But anyway, I mean, it's your own choice, man. If you want to invest in crypto, I honestly I think Bitcoin's probably the best way to go. Um, you know, smaller coins, there's probably so much manipulation going on with those. You know, like Shiba looks like it's a good product. You know, good product, a good project, and everything. You know what I mean? Everything about it looks pretty good, but at the same time, it's I bet 25% of the Shiba network is like all in one creator's hands. He could just milk it dry. As soon as money goes into it, he sells his 25%, makes the price crash, and then buys back in, buys the same number of coins. Now that the market cap has just been siphoned. Whereas Bitcoin, everybody's looking at it more long term. You know what I mean? The institutions that are on their way to 5% of it, they're not gonna they're telling us at least that they're not trying to sell it for like 20 to 100 years down the road. But you can't get mad at them for that. But yeah, half-hour live. I know I gotta shave. This shit looks disgusting. But yeah, basically worked all fucking 3 jobs yesterday. It's crazy. Worked 3 different jobs in one day. yeah, I guess everybody's just hanging out with their family today. I get it. How you doing, man? Happy Easter. I'm just hanging out here at the park. But yeah, that 94 baby. I don't know if you're the same guy coming back in or what. Probably not. But I mean, I would look into it, man. Like not crypto specifically look into Bitcoin and the nature of the protocol of everything that is Bitcoin. Look at the white paper. At least read the first page of the white paper. You know what I mean? Go on, see if there's a couple YouTube videos. I drank some of these last night. They're 8.1%. I don't know if you can see it. It's supposed to be 8.1%, and they're not a 12-ounce can. They're a 16-ounce can. Yeah, I drank like three of them, and I was gonna puke. I felt like I was gonna puke for 5 hours. And I spaced them out, of course. Like I slammed two, and then I went live. And then pretty much when I hit the hour mark on the live, I went, started drinking the third one. I didn't drink it on can, you know what I mean? I wasn't like on the live drinking because I don't know, trying to help the channel at least a little bit. But yeah, I'd like go to stand on the well, not stand on the trunk, stand by the trunk of my car, and just fucking drink like the other half of the one. Then it came back in, chatted for another 45 minutes or so, went and drank the other half, and then like I said, just three of them, and I'm like if I close my eyes, everything would start spinning. You know, like yeah, like 5 hours. I was super duper fucking tired at that point too. Like I wanted to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I was gonna fucking puke. But it's all right. Appreciate you hanging out, talking to me for a little bit. I know it's Easter. Y'all probably got a lot to do. I ain't doing much, man. Probably gonna hit some Uber, but there's probably not gonna be a whole lot of orders because everybody's got some kind of family event that everybody's gonna want you to leave with leftovers from. You know what I mean? Not we're not. I know from. You know what I mean? I know from the day after Christmas that Easter's probably not. It's not gonna be some money today. But yeah, I'm gonna turn on big head mode or something. Didn't work. Yeah, okay, it kind of works. Hey man, how you doing? You out here? Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? You chilling? Yeah, but yeah, I'll pack another bowl with this creamsicle something. Creamsicle sunset. Try to pack another bowl. Now before I pack my things and leave, there's something I need y'all to understand. I've seen a lot of things in this lifetime. That's why I walk the line. I'm just a simple man. And I ain't got thing for cheap thrills, but all my stars heal. Don't tend to ride with me. And I ain't saying where I'm from, but you always welcome to take a ride through the country. Hey, my man, how you doing, man? Chillin', chillin'. The big head ass motherfucker, look at you. Gotta find a bathroom here shortly. Until then, we chilling, man. What are you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. First time hanging? Let's hang. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're just hanging. We doing it every day. Same thing, you know. Oh yeah. Got this. Got a video. Got a bunch of footage. I gotta get edited. Throw it together. You know what I mean? Do all that. It don't take too long. Pretty much a piece it all together, pre-watch it, see what if there's like funny parts I can put to it here, there, or whatever. Put those in, you know, pre-watch it again, and then if there's any little bit I'm like, oh man, I missed that, should pull that out. Then I'll do that. You know what I mean? And then post it, and then yeah, try to put on. But you figure basically every video you put out there, it's another chance for it to pop up on someone's feed for them to watch and check you out. So I try to put a decent amount of videos up, but at the same time, I'm not trying to put too many videos up where the people that are my fans so far they'll subscribe, because I'm just posting shit all the time. You know what I mean? I don't know. Can't blame you for that. Yeah. Well. Yeah, man, we got a lot of birds, man. Birds for days down here. Burnt birds and shit. How you doing? Hanging out, man. Just trying to enjoy myself on Easter Sunday, you know what I mean? Yep. It's a pretty good weekend so far. Made it off the schedule for today. So that's pretty good, Good thing and a bad thing. But I'll have to get out there and do some Uber driving today. I don't, I can't have, I was planning on, I was planning on working. So, basically I'm short $50 by not working. So I need to get on Uber, run around for a little bit. But, yep. I think it's been about half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. Like queers. Yep. Hello, welcome in, welcome in. If it's your first time on the channel, how you doing? Happy Easter. I've been living in the car since September, trying to do my thing day to day. But they got the housing market so fucked up right now. Ain't nothing worth fucking paying for. You know what I mean? Like, just as easily save the money. Oh, how you doing, dude? Yeah, I was drinking last night. I don't really drink too much. I'll drink maybe 3 times a year. If it was a bad slash good year, I might drink 3 times throughout the year. Um, yeah, I had like 3 beers, man. I felt like I was gonna puke. Like, they're like, well, the 3 beers was more about maybe like five, because they're a little bit stronger, and they're, what I mean. But still, it took me 5 beers to feel like I needed to hang on to the car because I was gonna fall out of it. you know? Anyway, happy Easter, man. Yeah, I think my sister, she's got something going on. But she's got a bunch of kids, and it's a whole, it's a whole nother vibe. All the kids and shit. And I don't know. Not really trying to go to be a bad influence. But yeah, happy Easter, Fred. How you doing? Yeah, I'm like, man, like Fred didn't show up for the live show last night. And I'm like, oh, because it was like 2 p.m. on Easter for him. He was probably like doing some family shit. Like it was like noon, probably your time. Yeah, I'm chilling out. Got the day off from work somehow or another. But yeah, you know me, just trying to get this channel to go somewhere. If I can get it to go somewhere. My mom was actually surprised. I told her, I'm like, yeah, I'm at like 420 subscribers now, and she was like, what, really? Because I don't know, I really like, I had the channel for a couple. Y'all already heard it, but I had the channel for a couple of years, but I didn't really do anything with it until about like September. Like when I went homeless this time, I was like, you know what? I was like, I should really be filming this, like even just for myself to go back and watch. You know what I mean? Because like I said, this is gonna be the last time. I'm not, even if I don't end up with much, I'm not coming back to this point where I have to worry, find a spot where I'm gonna pitch a tent and shit. I don't know, man. Yeah, we did a lot of work walking yesterday. My miss loves walking and hiking. Heck yeah. Oh my god! Did y'all hear that? Holy fuck! That was like an alien warship almost just flew through my car. I had a dude popped in yesterday. He said you should make some more hiking videos, and I probably will. I don't know, but there's not a whole lot. Like if you're like just on a day hike, it's not quite interesting. You know what I mean? Like you're just filming bits and pieces of the trail and whatever random thought maybe comes in your head or whatever. What makes the hiking interesting is when you're doing like a 3 day hike. You're camping overnight somewhere on the side of something. You know what I mean? You're on the side of a mountain camping overnight, and then you're gonna wake up and then finish the summit the next morning, and then start to come back down. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Been wanting to go out to the beach and shit too. Just since I'm in Florida, but that takes gas, and gas is like $5 a gallon now. Like, granted, I could just Uber to get there, kind of, sort of. I could keep picking orders that are keep pulling me this way, and eventually end up far enough west where I'm on the beach. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's ultimately what the plan is, or at least get out to whatever beach town and then try to run a couple orders once I'm there. See what the mileage is on the shit. You'd have some good beaches, I'm guessing. Yeah, there's. I mean, allegedly. We've got like six of the world's top 10 beaches here in Florida. Um, but yeah, I don't know. There's beautiful beaches everywhere. You know what I mean? Like if long as long as you got waterfront where you can put sand basically, you can even import sand in and build a beach. You know what I mean? A man-made beach, and it's still I don't know. But I would tell you like don't go to one of those big names. Like if you ever come to Florida, don't go to one of the don't go to Daytona, don't go to Clearwater, don't go to Miami, don't go to you know go to one of the smaller. If it's still a beach town, you're still going to get the same experience. You're just going to get a lot less traffic. You know what I mean? The majority of your traffic will be getting to that town. But like Nokomis is a really good spot. Um, New Smyrna Beach. Yeah, I think it's like just south of Daytona. It's way more pretty. It's way prettier than fucking Daytona, in my opinion. Um, you know, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Don't go to one of them tourist traps. Go to one of the names you haven't heard yet. Sarasota's really good. Sarasota's not bad if you're into circus at all, or you know what I mean. If you're into the circus, there's like a big, huge the Ringling Brothers Museum, where it's like the yeah I don't know. It's a big, huge clown museum basically. Not I don't know, not that type of. It's not like the scary clowns. It's just more like the history of the circus being invented and everything. But I don't think like I think the circus in Australia was probably definitely different from if they even had like circus. They probably do have some form of people that do acrobatics and stuff like that, lion tamers. But yeah, Sarasota's got it's a good historical city. Same thing with St. Augustine. Tallahassee's beautiful. Um, but it would definitely anywhere in Florida, it would definitely help if you know about 50 if you know about 50 Spanish words, if you have a vocabulary that's that expansive, you know what I mean? It would help. It definitely help if you know about 50, maybe at least 20 Spanish words, like in anywhere in Florida at this point. But you get some really good seafood if you're into seafood. Being that Florida's surrounded by water, there's a lot of seafood options, and in any one of those small beach towns, there's going to be some kind of seafood shack. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be any town you go to. There's going to be a Spanish dude that doesn't know English. Granted, he might not be working behind the counter, but if you know at least enough Spanish where you pull out your phone and help translate, you know what I mean, and you can tell him thank you, and you know call him a sir, senor. I don't, you know what I mean. So you give him a decent amount of respect. You know what I mean? Because it's got to be hard going to another country and having like a language barrier and shit. You know what I mean? I can only imagine at this point. But yeah, like if you can count to 10 in Spanish, and you could say yes and no and please and thank you and sir and ma'am. You know what I mean? Just like the common stuff everybody should know. I know it. I don't know it off the top of my head. Like in the situation, I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't know. But yeah. No, they had Spanish classes. Like if you were planning on going to college, you had to take 2 years of a foreign language in high school. and a lot of people, they got around it because they started teaching sign language as a foreign language, which to me it's cheater. You're because you're still being taught all these different signs and whatever, but they're telling you what it means in English. So you know what I mean. You're taking pictographic English basically, while someone else is trying to learn French or Latin or Spanish, and you know what I mean. Whatever. But anyway, I didn't really plan on going to college. So I just to me it was two more electives I could have. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think about it. When I don't know. At least I don't know. If I planned on going to college, I figured it would be later. I don't know, man. But yeah, there was an option to learn Spanish in high school. And then you just, depending on what part of Florida you're in, you're gonna learn Spanish without Spanish class anyway. But yeah. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm up I'm up to about I'm at 11% of a Bitcoin now. I slowed down because I made it to 10%. So I slowed down a little bit. But the goal was still to get 11, and then I'd have enough to be able to transfer it, whatever to whatever wallet, back and forth or whatever, because there's actually 11%, not 10%. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna stack up another 11% that I can put into another wallet. That's what the plan is at this point. But part of my head thinks it's better if I just keep the whole stack together. It would be better in the short term because I need a larger stack for now to be able to pull out against, borrow collateral to get the real estate with. But the more I think about that, the better an idea it sounds, because I'm retaining the possession of my Bitcoin and then pulling out cash against it and then paying for the land in cash, which I might could get a cash discount on, right? And then I'm still retaining, I'm investing into real estate and also still staying invested in the Bitcoin at the same time. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't sell my Bitcoin to buy into real estate. I borrowed against it. It's just, I don't know. It sounds really good in my head. You know what I mean? The only hard part is, like, granted, Bitcoin's going to inflate in that time too. Hopefully, the number would go up in 4 years' time. Especially with a halving. If I plan it right on the right cusp of the halving cycle, I could basically have the effect of two different halvings when I go to buy it back. And then only having to pay 11% interest on 15 grand, and then but the Bitcoin's gone up 300%. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. And then, like I said, I'm in the meantime, I have a place to live. I'm living on top of the land. You know what I mean? And then I'm invested in the land just as much. So in 5-10 years time, I can at least get the money that I put into it back. I feel like it's not gonna go down in value in 10 years time. It's a possibility of only going up, especially as they print more money and debase the currency more. How's Uber been last couple? Friday was pretty good. Friday was really slow until it rained, and then I thought the rain was gonna help the orders pick up. It still took like another hour and a half after that. Like, the rain came and stopped, and then but I still ended up making like $130 on Friday. Yesterday was slow, I think because of Easter, and then today I haven't hit it yet, but I think it's gonna be slow again because of Easter. But yeah, yesterday I think I did make. There was two $8 orders. I took one of them. The other $8 order It ended up being some bullshit I had to cancel. It was at Dunkin' Donuts, which I knew before I got there. I'm like, oh, Dunkin's gonna be hell right now, before 10 a.m. on a Saturday, And then, sure enough, I get there. It looked like the order was almost ready. They didn't quite. I don't know, but I waited. I had to fight to get a parking spot. Just the whole thing. I was like, no, I'm just gonna cancel this because it was only $8 and it was a fucking 9 mile drive one way, or you know what I mean. It wasn't quite worth it. But they were beating up my acceptance rate at the same time, so I had to hit accept on something. Yeah, but like I normally I'll over the weekend I plan on making like $100 over Uber between the Friday, a little bit that I can do Saturday in between work, and a little bit that I can do Sunday in between work. And but this last weekend I only planned on doing 50, and I did so well on Friday night that I'm like, all right, it's just gonna be a whole 100 then. But yeah, and like where I'm at, with Bitcoin being underneath $70,000, that's just to me that's a deal. I mean, granted, it's not like 8 or 9 thousand when I was first looking at it, and I didn't know enough about it at that point. You know what I mean? It would have been nice if I would have put $1,000 down on it when it was at like 8 or 9. You know what I mean? But yeah, it would have saved me a bunch of work right now. But hopefully that's the whole idea. It's just that I don't know. And then I was watching online. There's a dude. He's got a nice ass place in the Philippines. Like you look over your privacy fence in the backyard, and then there's the beach, right? He's got a pool, nice big old clean water pool. Got a fucking Filipino wife, and he's fucking chilling. And the rent there is $300 a month to rent this place on the beach with a pool, and like it's a decent sized place. It's not like a Japanese apartment, you know, like it's 300 a month. And I'm like, damn. So I'm like, so what they want for 1 month here to live in a shack in someone's backyard, right? Like a shack with an AC unit, right? That's $1,000 a month. Or I can live for 3 months in the Philippines off that same amount. You know what I mean? It's better. I don't know. It's better for me just to save and stack as much as possible, and then hopefully I can just get the fuck out. I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. If I could save $1,000 today to live for 3 months in another country, you know what I mean? Granted, it might take a while. Like realistically, I would have to do 10 years of that, and then at that point, I could maybe do another 20 years in the other country based on that logic. But I'm sure things are going to inflate there as well. But yeah, yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, as soon as like I'm financially able to get out of this country, I plan on it. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know, man. Like I was real big into collecting those cards and shit. You know what I mean? I don't collecting. I don't know. Wish I could have held on to them better. Some of the shit that I did have, you know what I mean? I think I had like Valkyrion, the Magna Warrior. Um, I don't know. Like I didn't have nothing too good, but yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Everybody kept talking me out of, oh, it's just a fucking paper card. You're spending your paper money to buy a paper card from like China or Japan. You know what I mean? You're just giving them our currency. I don't know. You're giving them our real currency, and then they're giving you a paper. They're basically, in a way, they're kind of like making counterfeit. I don't know, not necessarily. You know what I mean? It's just selling a product. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't get too deep into the fucking saving paper cards. I don't know. Wish I could have. Wish I would have. I don't know. If I was single, I'd probably do something similar. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like there's 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 women in the Philippines. They'll marry you just because you're an American, and then so then that way they have citizenship to America. You know what I mean? Long horse way. You know what I mean? But like here in America, if you want an American woman, you have to have so much to your name. You know what I mean? The first couple questions they ask you is where do you work and what car do you drive? They're already trying to like check your pockets to see how much money you've got. Basically, the first couple questions they ask you anytime you go on a date. You know what I mean? Whereas they're just I don't know. They're happy to have the opportunity of being an American themselves. You know what I mean? And granted, it's probably not even just the Philippines. It's like that. You know what I mean? There's probably women in France, women in Germany, women, women in wherever, all through Europe that like have been wanting to be American, but they have to play this stupid legal game. You know, I don't know. I even seen they made a TV show about girls in Europe that were like pen pals with people that are convicts in prison, and then they get to the point that yeah, I think it was like 90 Day Fiance type of thing, but they're like pen pals with people that are convicts in prison, and then they end up falling in love with somebody that committed murder, and I'm over here like, why do you have to? I'm like, is that what I don't? I'm just like, and I get, the thing is they're trying to turn their life around, and be a better man, and all this, but it's I don't know, man. It's, but yeah, like they're doing the same thing. They'll take some girl in the UK that really wants a black man, and they'll give her the option to talk to this guy that's in prison, and she talks to him, and then she just instantly falls in love because he's her type in the first place. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, they make a whole show about it. Shit. Like me, I've got a type. I like dark hair, like a chunky girl, dark hair and blue eyes, and basically, the rest almost don't even matter. Like I want her to have some intelligence. I don't want her to just be like, push over, do anything kind of, like, you know what I mean? I want her to like debate me on things, you know. But yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've already been canceled. That's why my channel's not even taken off because I've already been canceled. I mean, I can see why. You know what I mean? This isn't like the best thing to promote, but I don't know. I think Fred stopped watching. anyway, what time is it? What we got? 11:30. Still kind of early. Yeah, there wasn't even yesterday. There wasn't even really a lunch rush. Fucking driving, and like I said, I had to clock in at 4, so I don't even know what dinner time was like. But just it felt like a Tuesday, not a Saturday. Yesterday, and that's why I'm figuring today I might as just well just wait until like 5 o'clock before I even get started, because it's just kind of awkward. I'll go, like from where I'm at, I could sit here and chill all day, not really a problem. You know what I mean? But if I go into the city, I've got to find a spot where you know what I mean. Yeah, I've got to find a spot in the right parking spot. I've got to find shade still. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of shade in parking lots, and yeah. One day I want to get a metal detector. Dream of finding a huge gold nugget. Hell yeah. Yeah, a metal detector. I mean, you could find rings and fucking earrings and all kinds of shit all the time. I bet you could just like metal detect the side of highways, and you might could find rings and shit. I'm gonna plug my phone in. There we go. Hey, it wasn't even that bad. It's only it's at 62%. Sorry. These two people are just like, I don't know, they're coming back off the trail and they're just like hanging out. Uh, with like the Philippines downside, there's hardly any infrastructure. Yeah, that's what they say a lot too. A lot of the people, they call themselves expatriates, right? Which I don't think is really quite the right term, because you're not a patriot. You left. You know what I mean? I don't understand how you call yourself an expatriate even. I don't whatever. But anyway, um, yeah, that's the number one thing that they always bring up is like healthcare. If you've got like some kind of health problem, they were like basically saying I wouldn't come here unless you're going to be like in the capital city, because just if you like say you have diabetes or something, you know what I mean, something where you need extensive amount of healthcare. I don't know. That's why I think it'd be better to go while I'm young. The younger, the better. Because I don't, if I, say, if I get lucky enough where I'm at now in age, and I find like a 25-year-old wife, me being like the early side of my 30s, it's not really a problem. But if I go when I'm 60 and find like a 25-year-old wife, it's everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, come on, bro." Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's like I don't know. Everything here is just like so expensive, and it's basically poison, you know. Like all this overpriced fucking shit that's like just fucking slowly putting plastic into our body and shit. But yeah. I got these stickers. Trying to see if it would do the big head mode. But anyway, they advertised these stickers like they were 5-inch stickers. Like the size, like they'd be the whole size of the square. Like I'd get 4 stickers that were 5-inch stickers. And then I get the stickers and it's one 5-inch square. Like, oh well, that was a fucking ripoff. Because I was gonna put it on the window. I thought it was gonna be a bigger sticker, and I could put it on the window. Like, like I got the Doge guy. We're riding around. I don't know. But yeah, that's just one of the things where it's like anything you go to buy, it's a fucking ripoff anyway. Yeah. A trap mini passport bros fall for is buying stuff in the girlfriend's name due to laws about foreigners owning stuff. Then girlfriend runs off with your stuff and nothing legal. Yeah, the same thing that already happened though. Basically, I mean, it's crazy because when we applied for the house, I should have had the better credit between the two of us. It made no sense. It made no sense that somehow we could get the house in her name, but we couldn't get the house in my name, unless the bank was just looking for more females to be owners in the first place. Like like unless the bank had some kind of sexism with that, it makes no fucking sense to me. But yeah, that's basically what already happened. She gets to a point where she's stable enough, and we moved the little brother in. And the little brother he's finally a senior in high school, or he's doing work with his buddies or whatever. He's supposed to be getting work right up their high school, this, that, the other. And then she's also supposed to be getting a promotion at work, and then so she decides that, oh well, then I don't need you around now. Like just the promotion she was gonna get at work was supposed to pay the $500 a month that I was paying to be there, or something like that. And then I don't know. It really is, man. I mean, everything for like the last 50 years has been that way, man. We're facing a backlash from the thousands of years before that. It'll probably take another 100 years before everything actually equals out. You know what I mean? Before we actually have an equal and balanced system where somebody cleaning a toilet will get paid the same regardless whether they have a ball, whether they, regardless whether they have balls or boobs. You're gonna get the same amount because you're cleaning a toilet. You know. But it'll happen basically because like what first thing that we need is more of a universal based income. Like not the bad, okay, don't not the bad side of it, but like you should basically be paid the same. It doesn't matter what country you're in, whatever job you're doing, you should be paid a fair amount for. Like if you're an engineer here in the U.S. You're looking at over $100,000 a year to be an engineer here in the U.S. But if you're an engineer in Cuba, you're looking at about $500 a month to be an engineer in Cuba. The same job, but the difference is the strength of the currency. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying that they really need more of a universal based income as far as that, where people are paid a fair amount globally. You know what I mean? Regardless of your system's currency not being worth, I don't, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't think Bitcoin's really going to be the thing that solves that either. But yeah, but yeah, that's the majority of the time the woman gets to keep everything, and then the man has to go and rebuild. Yeah, the woman's got to maintain what you. Yeah, woman's got to she's got to maintain what you built with her, and then meanwhile the man has to like go and rebuild something else. And I'm not trying to be that negative about it. It was I don't know, man. It was just fucking bullshit whole way around, man. Like I said, I would if the tables were turned, I would have gave her 60 or 90 days, or even when the 90 days hit, I would have been like, all right, well, you can have another 90 days. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have just thrown them out in the middle of their fucking work week and shit, where they're still trying to worry about, because I still had shifts I had to cover. I'm trying to get a transfer from the one state to another state, which I was lucky enough I could do that, but I wasn't going to be able to do that by doing no call, no shows. Couldn't just take off in the middle of the fucking week, and then not even then wouldn't even let me fucking like sleep in the driveway. You know what I mean? I was like, come on. I had to fucking pry her teeth out to get her to let me fucking park my car in the driveway and sleep in the driveway, just because I knew it'd be a safe spot where I could sleep for the night. Just as good as being on the other side of the wall in the house. Not just as good, but you know what I mean? Like, fucking bullshit, dude. But yeah. So, when was the last time you chatted to your ex? I think it's been about a week, probably more. I don't know. I invited her. My mom's going on a vacation, so she wants me to watch her house. So it'll be like 7 days. I'll during the middle of July, I'll be able to be inside, and I invited her to come down. Like just the however much it would cost her to come down, fuel wise. Basically you stay at the week at my mom's, and just have like a free vacation out of it, kind of sort of. And she sounded like like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, but that's we didn't really do any actual planning on that. So I don't think that's gonna happen. I think she was just, again, just spoon feeding me some more fucking bullshit that I want to hear, because that's all it's pretty much been the whole time. Which I'm getting kind of sick of too, because like I can't be paying to feed a dead horse. You know what I mean? And the way it is now, where last time I talked to her, she's like, "Oh yeah, make sure you pay the bill. Make sure you pay the bill for me." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, fucking been 6 months I've been paying your internet and your phone for you, as a favor for you, and then I can't even get you to fucking talk to me while I'm out here fucking picking through fucking weeds and shit. Like, and that's the thing. It's like she doesn't even see like how much help I'm giving her. you know, because to her it's just $200, but to me it's like, you know, the amount of time I'm getting from the actual job and everything too. It's like half of my month pay for me to fucking shovel over $200 a month to you to pay for your fucking internet so that you can fucking keep up with your fucking video game addiction, so that you can keep fucking playing with your fucking buddies in however ever many fucking states, you know. All you are on this fucking game that's designed for fucking 8-year-olds that's fucking 10 years old at this point, and y'all are all in your 30s playing with each other, and you know, you think you're cool because you built this whole group. You know, you have this whole group that, you know, it's all just fucking people that have nothing else to fucking do. You know, I don't know. But yeah, that's another part of it, man. Fucking video game addiction. Like I had one too, but I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. You know, like this is, you know, it's not even the least bit productive. The amount of time I was spending week per week per week per week on a fucking video game. You know, so I threw it away in like May. I stopped playing like completely. I went from playing 200 hours a week to playing like 5 to 10 hours a week. You know, like a normal amount. You know, and then she's still just, you know, for 100 hours a week. You know, can't, you know, I don't know. And it was months of that where I'm trying to get her off the game because like the game was ruining the relationship. That's Video games were ruining the relationship. So I stopped on my end, but she wasn't like, you know what I mean. She wasn't from her end, and so I don't know. I don't know. It got to the point I just couldn't do it. She couldn't do it, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just fucking stupid, man. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I need to contact her and let her know like I'm done paying for your internet to be on. So you're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do for that. Which, you know, it shouldn't really hurt her because it's like it's only $200 more a month, you know. And I don't know. It's like I was helping her, but now she's gotten to the point where she's like expecting the help. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm like, no, like that's $200 more a month I can have for myself. You know. And then granted, you know, that's part of I'm being selfish in that extent, you know. But like, isn't what she's doing kind of being selfish in the same extent? You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, if I can get the YouTube channel to go, you know what I mean? Like say I can, you know, because I bet I was watching a video. The guy was like he was living a very 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 extravagant life. More, you know, more he had more than I would probably pay for. And he's living for $2,000 a month, you know, uh, to live there in the Philippines. And you know, say if I can get to the point where I can make even just 500 a month from the YouTube, you know what I mean? I don't think that's going to happen, but you know, if it does happen, I can make 500 a month from the YouTube, and then, you know, live off my savings plus whatever income I can make on the YouTube, you know, and then plus I'd be filming in another country at that point. You know what I mean? I'd be in the Philippines doing whatever, you know what I mean? So I think that the videos would be just as interesting as they are now, you know what I mean? And then there'd still be that long term time horizon stuff that people are coming and watching for. You know, they'll see like, wow, man, I remember him 10 years ago. He was living in his car in Florida. dealing with the fucking millionaires and all their fucking bullshit, just kicking sand in his face everywhere. And, now he's in the Philippines, actually chilling on the beach, drinking margaritas like he wanted to in Florida. apparently in Florida, that kind of lifestyle, it costs like $250,000 a year. If you want to be, I don't know. And granted, I don't want to just do that. You know what I mean? But it does sound like fun, man. Just have like a fucking rocking chair, an acoustic guitar, and a fucking, enough money to afford all the margaritas you can drink. And then I'm not really a big drinker. You know what I mean? So I'd probably be getting virgin margaritas and just be chilling, drinking some lime and salt. Grilling up some chicken, or grilling up some fucking bratwurst or whatever. Yep. That's the problem, man. It's like so much of the U.S. market, it's like built around that nowadays. Because yeah, it's like it's crazy how like the women, they wanted to work. They were bitching for years, like, oh, we want to work, we want to go and make our own money, and then you allow them to work, right? And then look where we've gotten today, where you know what I mean. Look where we've gotten today, where OnlyFans makes so much money off these girls that don't want to work. They just want to film themselves in their bedroom doing whatever. You know, it's like, hey, wait, didn't y'all want to work? We tried to save you from it. Well, I mean, it kind of is. I mean, if like Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't think I think he can get away with being a trophy husband. You know what I mean? Even though he's like kind of a puny beta male, kind of, sort of, you know what I mean? He's not really alpha. Leonardo DiCaprio is not really an alpha male. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. If you're lucky enough that you can pull off being a trophy husband, I guess. But even still, as a trophy husband, women would still expect you to like work, make your own money at least. Like you might could live in their house for free, but you still need to pay for your own car. You know. But yeah, yeah, man. I don't know. Got plenty to drink. Well, kind of running half a cup still. I've daydreamed about trophy husband thing. Probably need to find an old divorced rich woman. Yeah, yeah, some old fucking scag. You know, fucking fucking skin hanging on top of a skeleton covered in scabs. You know, and then because she's looking like that, she's probably not gonna have too much. But yeah, would be rare to go. It would be rare to go that way. Those types usually just cheat on their husbands. Yep. But yes, like I don't know. I feel like literally at a crossroads. But I don't know. I don't see any direction out without Bitcoin either. Because like I said, even if I were to just save, if I'm gonna save up to the point where I get like 100 grand, and then saving in USD the whole time, by the time I get 100 grand, it's gonna be like 50K in actual value, purchasing power still. And then how long it'll take for me to fucking save 100 grand? Like, Jesus Christ. Probably take me another fucking 8 years. The amazing Mr. Ripley. Nah. I haven't seen it, man. Gotcha. I'll try to check it out. At least check out the trailer for it. Oh man, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm still pushing, trying to get to at least 500 subscribers would be nice. Because if I get to 500, they'll open up some of the monetization where y'all can at least do a super chat if you want. Not that I'm really, you know, you know what I mean. It'd just be nice. You know what I mean. The channel memberships will open up. You know what I mean. I don't know. It's the stupid small stuff. You don't get ad revenue. Yeah, you don't get ad revenue until 1,000. You know what I mean. But at least at 500, they give you something to kind of like keep you in the race. You know. Because I bet I might get a couple people if I have the memberships just like $1 a month. I might get a couple people that'll help me out. And if I can say I get like 10 people that want to sign up for a membership, you know what I mean. That's $10 a month that I'd be making off the YouTube. It'd be incentive to keep producing. You know what I mean. Even just $10, even just $10 would be enough that I would keep making videos for the 26 views that I get. I don't know. At least when I go live, I get like a couple hundred views when I go live. But I guess that's from people leaving and coming back. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'll pop. Like, I don't know if like a whole group of people pop into the thing or what. You know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen it be a bit like 25 briefly, and then go back down to 3. But it's a small channel. You know what I mean? Trying to get to the point where there's people, enough people talking in chat that chat becomes like its own little party. You know what I mean? Oh fuck. But yeah. Yeah, channel membership for $5 a week. Holy shit. No, I think like either $1 or like $1.99 USD a month. Because like a dollar in Australia, it'd be $1.50 in Australia to be $1 USD. So you know what I mean? If I make it $2, it's really gonna be 3 or 5, like you're talking. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, that's gonna happen anyway, man. I think ultimately, with what we're kind of in the middle of the start of at, you know what I mean? I think we're ultimately going to get to the point where people won't be able to afford, like, you working, you'll be able to maybe feed yourself. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna price groceries higher and higher and higher and higher. The people that have houses, they're gonna struggle to hold on to them. You know what I mean? And the rich, the wealthy, like by the time robots get here in the mix and everything, the poor will start to kind of phase out because, like I said, the price of groceries will go up to the point where you won't see a household where they have 5 kids. You'll see a household where they can only afford to have like 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Which is already happening. You know what I mean? Um, but it'll get to the point where, poor people, you know what I'm saying? We won't phase out all the way, but like the rich will just pay for their robots to work, kind of, sort of. You know what I mean? And like if the poor eventually starve out from the food prices going so high. I don't know. Right. That's the other side of it too, Fred. Like if the people that are hanging out now, they appreciate the small creator. You know what I mean? That's why I wouldn't want to get too big because my whole format would probably change. You know what I mean? Which, like I mean, granted, there's a lot of upgrades that can be done. You know what I mean? I do ultimately, like, when I get the phone, so that I can upgrade the live streaming because the phone would have 4 times as much RAM. So it's just gonna process better. On top of the signal should be better. On top of the camera should be better. You know what I mean? But the next move after that, hopefully that phone helps me get from where I am now to 1,000, right? And then when I get to 1,000, then I would buy like an actual laptop. You know what I mean? And then with the laptop, I would then be able to like make my own music and shit. To put underlay into the videos and do more with the editing, because then at that point I wouldn't be editing just from the phone. I'd be editing off of a laptop. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be super duper fucking huge either. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's just a side thought. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd even do that at 1,000. Maybe I would. I don't know. But like I said, I do want to upgrade the phone just because this thing's kind of getting to be a piece of shit anyway. But yeah. It's a good day so far, man. But yeah, I don't know. I just try to keep living. Just try to just stick to myself and hopefully get out of here. I don't know, man. Just keep trying to avoid spending money at all costs. But yeah, I need another job. This fucking, I don't know, this auto parts shit. I fucking hate it, man. It's almost about as bad as being in a kitchen. Oh, sorry, I wish it was a little bit more entertaining, man. Trying to see if maybe I could even find a dude like the two of us. And the two of us could be like both broadcasting together. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what time. It's noon, 12, 12, 11, something like that. 12, 12, 11. 11 minutes past 12, I think. But yeah. I get a check on Wednesday, so that's gonna be pretty good. Of course, that whole check, I'm just gonna have to throw it at the credit card anyway, so I'll still be at zero. But I'm trying to get to that, trying to get to that point where that's basically what I was doing. The whole check I was putting on credit cards, and the money that I made from Ubering would buy me lunch and buy Bitcoin. However much I made driving for Uber would buy, whatever, however much I was going to buy in Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And then, but the money I made from the actual job was going straight to the credit cards. It worked all right for, I was doing all right for a little while. But then this last check, I was so close to breaking that number that I had in my head, the decimal that I was trying to get to, and I did the math, and I'm like, oh, I only need like $350 more. So I took the whole check and put it on. You know what I mean? And then boom, it brought me up to that decimal that I've been trying to get to. But that's kind of one thing that's been kind of set me back. Me using all that money to go this direction instead of using that money to put on my actual credit cards like I had planned. And now my credit card maxed out on me. They weren't letting me swipe it, so I had to Uber with like no gas, trying to get some money so that I could put into my actual bank account, and then use my bank account to put more gas. Now that the money's there, I can put more gas in my car to keep Ubering with. You know what I mean? It got really tight there. But luckily, like I said, Friday was a good night, and it kind of bounced back. You know what I mean? And check is coming Wednesday. The bank account's actually positive like $50 right now. You know what I mean? So I've got money to eat until Wednesday, and then when the check comes, I'll be able to throw that whole check on the credit card like I should have with the last one. But anyway, and then I'll be in good enough stance where I just need to keep moving still. But yeah, yeah, pretty much nothing planned. So I figured I'd go live and see if maybe I could catch a couple new subscribers instead of just watching something else. I don't know, there's not really a whole lot on YouTube I want to watch anymore. Like, granted, I can still find something, you know what I mean? Something to do other than fucking just being bored. You know what I mean? Something to watch. But I don't know. Ultimately, it's more interesting to me to go live. I guess, you know what I mean? It's more interesting to me to go live than watch something. But I do, what I mean? There are still channels I like to check out. And I try to support other small creators as well. If I find somebody that I vibe with, you know what I mean. I don't just you don't want to just subscribe to everybody because YouTube will catch on to that, and the algorithm will catch on to that, and it'll basically pull you as a subscriber from everybody that you have subscribed to. You know what I mean? So you did all that for like no avail. You know what I mean? You'll subscribe to the channel, but it won't even count you as a subscriber for that channel because it'll already know that you're just subscribing. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Kent? You missed a pretty good show last night. I was drinking, man. And a couple of these steel reserve, or not steel reserves, like a high gravity hurricane or whatever. Man, didn't hit me well. Fucking felt like I was gonna puke for about 5 hours after drinking 3 of them. But yeah, that's why I don't drink. My body just rejects it, like the poison that it is. But yeah, I had a dude that was panhandling yesterday, and he's out there. He's doing the slow walk. You know, they do like the little slow walk. They come up, they crouch up to the car. You know, he's holding the sign, and I pull up. Just show him my sign back. He just kept walking. Oh man, I gotta get some ibuprofen I can keep in the car. What the fuck? Yeah. Charging up, doing good, man. Chilling out. Happy Easter, by the way. Yeah. I knew he was gonna leave. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'll probably go live a little bit later on in the day or something. I don't know. At least, well, man, I'm at least gonna move. That's how she starts. I don't know why. Put the AC on for a little bit. Just gigolo, and everywhere I go. No, I don't think there's gonna be a lunch rush today. Being that it's Easter and shit, I don't think there's gonna be too many orders today. There wasn't much of nothing yesterday, so I don't think there's gonna be anything. I don't know. Just feel like it's time to move for the day. You know, down the road. All right. I don't know what happened there. All I did was I moved my car. I guess it was switching satellites or something. probably a good thing not to like oversaturate your material too much, you know. But yeah, I think I got a good enough story where, you know, if I keep putting out enough material, eventually one of them will pop. Come on, what are you doing, bro? You could have went. You're gonna wait so long you can't go. I'm chilling, man. I got 3/4 of a tank to start with today. Thinking about heading to get some lunch. Man, I was already chilling. I like to use my handbrake a lot to help me stop. Kind of puts pressure onto the back brakes and less pressure onto the front brakes. And it evens the wear out, I feel like, at least. But yeah, where I just left, that was the camping spot, basically the trail. Got like one more light to go through, and then now I'm technically in the city. You can tell by the traffic. Hang on. It's Easter Sunday, man. There's not too much traffic right now. At noon. Normally this light up in front of me, you have to wait for like 2-3 rotations to get through. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many deliveries today. Signal's good still. Got $4.29 a gallon. $6 for diesel. A gallon is 3.8 liters. So I feel like we're still getting off pretty good, man. I've seen one girl in another country. I don't know what country it was, but she was filling up, and it was like $3 per liter. I want to say it was in Australia somewhere. $3 per liter. Holy shit. I guess I'm walking. there's no shade. There's no shade this time of day. Oh man, let me get blasted by direct sunlight. 86 degrees. Hopefully I don't think there's gonna be some shit. It might be some shade behind this hotel. Nope. I guess some kind of shade. Not bad. Damn, the muffler's hanging off. You see it? You got that muffler hanging on the ground. Oh man. Oh man, there's fucking caterpillars all over this fucking tree. There's like an infestation of caterpillars for some reason going on in this city. Fucking, you sit up underneath some of the trees, and it'll just be raining caterpillars on you. And these caterpillars that are climbing up the tree, and then they get up the tree, and then they fall out, and they just land on the car, and they crawl in the car and shit. Look at their muffler. The muffler. Don't go in reverse. Yep. Pretty good day so far. I appreciate the likes, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out. No, I'm not really doing much. I'm sorry for that. It's a slow moving horse, you know. But I probably got like at least one new subscriber off of this live stream. I appreciate it. Yes, I think fucking YouTube doesn't like me. I'm probably cursing too much in my videos. That's probably what it is. It's the number one thing I see like on other channels that are kind of moving, taking off faster than me. Is the number one thing I'm seeing is that they're not cursing 6 times in a sentence. Yeah. What can I do, man? You know what I mean? There it is. Hey, there it is. How you doing, mate? That's the guy. That's the guy right there. How you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. How you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh. Anyway, now we're gonna chill out, man. Well, I don't know, man. Well, it's been showing me 0 viewers for a minute now. Sorry, I've been quiet, but it's still showing me 0 viewers. So I might have to go ahead and close the live. But anyway, I guess that's it for now. I guess that's it. Oh, how you doing, man? Chilling, chilling. Sorry, I was sitting here, had 0 viewers for a good, good 3 or 4 minutes there. But yeah, let's see about closing the live stream. I don't know. I'll keep it going if I got a viewer. Oh, all right. See you later. Yeah. Well, that's it, man.